So here it is, this tension. And over here with Kenny, we have what the evil one says is good, right? So the evil one comes to Eve and he says, hey, did God really say, right? And then Eve is like, well, yeah, God said if we eat from that tree of knowledge of good and evil, that we will, what? We will surely die. And then what does the evil one say to Eve? He says, you will not surely die. You will not surely die. And so then we have this moment where Eve is being tempted in the garden. Create some tension here. She's being tempted in the garden and she's being swayed to decide whether or not she's going to decide what the evil one says is good or what God says is good. And so she's standing here and she's thinking like, well, I mean, Adam told me that God said that I would surely die if I eat from that tree. But now you're telling me that God's withholding something from me. And you're also telling me that if I eat from this tree, I won't surely die. So there's this tension going on for Eve, right? And it says, the Bible says that she looks at the tree, she sees and decides in her own heart that it is good for food. That's the language the Bible uses, that she decides that it's good for food. And so instead of partnering with what God says is true, she decides to partner with what Satan says is true. She decides to partner. Yeah, you should come on. I thought you were working out in the gym. She decides to partner with what God, with what the evil one says is true. And friends, this is what's going on in our hearts. This is exactly what is going on in our hearts. The question that is over all of reality is what is good. And God is saying to us, hey, it's not good to not be in community. It's not good to live life on your own. It's not good to lie and cheat and scheme. It's not good to just not be generous. We say, no, it's good. We follow the prince of the air. We follow this culture and we do what it tells us to do. Instead of partnering with God and accepting what he says is true and moving in his direction. And so the question before all of us, thank y'all, is who are we going to trust? Whose words are we going to trust? Are we going to trust God's words? Or are we going to trust the evil one's words? Are we going to accept God's definition of what is good and that's true? Or are we going to try to create our own definition of what's true? That is the struggle. That is the tug of war that's going on in your heart.